Hi there, I'm Lisa. I am the owner of Lollipop Box Club. Today I am going to be upcycling this wooden clipboard. It's an A4 size and I bought it in Tiger just for a couple of pounds. I knew instantly that I would want to do something with them. They have some smaller ones as well, which I've also bought, and you can also get I think it was navy blue, aqua and red clips. I've gone with pink today. I want to use this. I've decided it's got, if you can see here, you can pull this up and you've got a circle there so you can clip it, and we've got quite a few clipboards around the house with clipped photographs and things in, and they're quite nice because you can change the photographs, and I think they look quite quirky as well, and I like quirky around the house. So today I'm going to show you what I do with mine. I've got some Mod Podge, which I'm using as my adhesive. I've got some good quality white paint. I've got some old book pages here. I'm going to be using some Dilutions paint and also some Kaiser colour. An old paintbrush. I don't tend to use really expensive paintbrushes purely because I'm really bad at looking after things and I tend to not wash them out properly and they just get damaged. So I use cheapy ones for this kind of thing, and then I can put them in the bin if need be. I've got my roller here, my brayer. Is that what it's called? I'm not very good at pronouncing things, so a brayer, whatever that is. And I have got a very large set of foam stamps here. They're Heidi Swap. I've had these for a long time, so I don't know if they're still available to be bought, but I really love these, and they're just fantastic on these kind of projects. So I've already selected the alphabets pieces, the letters that I need, and that's today, which is going to go along the bottom. So we need to sort our base out, and I'm going to start off by using the Mod Podge. I am going to be now stocking some of the mixed media pieces, the materials that I use a lot of in the online shop, in the Lollipop Box Club shop. So I will now start to be able to link things up. I get asked all the time about where to buy things from that I use, so I thought it's about time that maybe I started stocking them. So anything that I use I will link up to. If I can, obviously, like I said, the alphabets, I don't know if they're actually available to be bought anymore, but I'll have a look and see if I can find something similar, because it's just something that's quite handy to have in the cupboard. I do tend to use them quite a bit, but anything that I don't sell I will link up to elsewhere where I tend to buy things from. So I am going over here with the Mod Podge, and I'm just going to use this to stick the book pages on with. I really like using the Mod Podge, and it does actually give you a really nice base to work on as well. You could obviously tear the pieces up if you would like them quite random on the page. And if you are a complete perfectionist, which I am not, and I'm not even going to pretend that I am, because I'm much more of a slapdash artist, you could actually remove the clips there. I'm sure you can, yeah. I'm sure you could take those off, but no, that's not me. I just go around and pretend, no matter what it ends up looking like, that it was meant to be like that. So how about, I'm going to tear this down like that. Let's do another bit on the other side. Let's go over. If you keep going over the top, then any loose bits that decide to spring back up, they can then stick down. And let's pop that on there. And then I can just do some smaller pieces on the top. We're going to be painting over it anyway, so you don't need to stress out too much about it. So let's do that. And go underneath to stick it in place. And then I'll do another one the other side. That will do. Like I said, I'm painting over it, so it doesn't need to be perfect. Now I'm going to give that a nice generous coat over the top. Like I said, the Mod Podge leaves a really nice finish, so it's great, a great base to work on. So I'm happy to plaster that over. Any loose bits like that you can just trim off once it's all dry. I do use a heat gun to dry mine purely because I'm impatient and I always want to move on to that next stage. But if you don't have a heat gun, this is something that you can quickly do before going to bed, or if you've got a day full of other events going on, you can quickly do that. You can see it hasn't taken me very long at all, and you can go off and leave it, and then when you come back to it later, it should be ready for you to carry on to the next stage. So I'm going to go and blast this with the heat gun. My base is now dry, and I've just trimmed off those bits that hung over the edge. I am now going to coat this in my white paint, and I'm going to use my roller for this. Just go again really roughly over. Like I said, nothing I do is perfect at all. This just gives it a really good quick coat. I like the imperfections of this. I like the way that I've got the uneven paper underneath, so it just creates a bit more texture. What I don't like are these roller bits here. I always seem to manage to catch those. So let's try and go over. We want a couple of different directions. Let's just grab the edges at the top there. I am just going to sweep over here because I want those edges, and I'll just finish it off by going so you can't see the paintbrush marks. Let's try and cover up those bits, and I am going to go and dry that now. The clipboard is nice and dry now. I've got some really fun textures going on. That's really cool. And now I'm going to do a bit of layering before I stamp out my word today. I'm going to just add some of the papers from the January kit. I like layering a lot. It's something I do with quite a lot of my projects. So I'm just going to use the Mod Podge as my glue again. Just put that on the base, and I'm just going to layer a few of these papers up like so. So not until the edges. I want to leave the board around the outside. I've got some more book pages here. Let's pop that there. I quite like on the back of that one it says the magic words. Like that. And the idea is then what I plan to do is have the word today along the bottom, and then I thought I can clip bits and pieces, so my plans today, or if I need a boost and a bit of inspiration, I can post something or clip something there, so I can just sort of like add bits and pieces each day. I'm going to put that tag there on the top as well. I'm going to leave the string. I think I might tie that. Oh, I'm layering up the magic words, aren't I? I wanted to keep that. How about I tear that in half. I'm going to pop that like that, and I can use the other piece another time. I'm going to have that as well, and I'm just going to continue playing and layering up these pieces of paper. I've had lots of fun shredding the papers and sticking them on. Each time I've put them on with the Mod Podge, I've gone over the top as well, and you can see I've literally been shredding the papers from the January kit and just plastering them on all over the place. A couple of these aren't quite stuck on. Now I'm not going to, oh, my Mac just went on, it made me jump. I'm not going to wait for this to dry properly. I'm going to go straight ahead. I'm going to use some gesso on my roller again. I'm choosing the gesso over the white acrylic paint, as I do want the papers to show through, and the paint will sort of cover it completely. I do want to see a bit of the colour still though, so I'm just going to go roughly over the top. I don't want it to be too dark, so I might go over a couple of times just to take some of it off. But this gives my gives me a good base for when I start stamping out my letters. Right, I am going to remove some of this. I want to be able to see some of the papers through that. Oh, bit of music there in the background. And let's remove some of that and that as well. Get those nails in there. Let's see some of those stars through and the flowers as well. I'm actually just removing this with my nails now. It's coming off quite well there. I just wanted to be able to see some of it through. So I'm going to go and get my heat gun on that and wash my fingers as well. The layers are nice and dry now, and they're all flat to give me a good base. I've decided to stamp the word today in yellow. Obviously very important, making sure that you've got everything in the correct order. I am going to add the paint to my stamp here. I'm going to give it a quick practice run. There we go. And let's pop that on there. Fingers crossed it works well. Excellent, that's the first one done. I'm going to do small alphas, I think. So splodge them in. And the next one. And press it down nice and firmly. Okay. And we want the D, making sure that is the right way. Now, just double check that I've got the paint on. I am actually pressing it onto the cardboard there on the side before pressing it onto my project here. I'm finding that there's a lot of excess paint coming off, and I don't want to splodge it all over my board here. Let's not get a Z in there. I don't know how the Z got in there. Okay, let's add the paint to the A. It's important to check each time that you've got good paint coverage over everything. There we go, otherwise that won't work. And it's really difficult afterwards to try and re-stamp it without getting the paint everywhere. Press it down, and then we just are left with the letter Y. Again, cover the Y in paint. Let's just press the excess off. I think we might need a little bit more actually. That looks good. And let's place that there. And making sure that every piece of the stamp is pressed down. Excellent. So we have today. I quite like that. Now what I'm going to do, I want a little bit of yellow on the top. I'm going to take some of the paint on my fingers and just run it over the board here and there. Not going to do too much. I'm really good at getting carried away in these kind of situations. There we go. And I'm going to add a little bit of the paint here, and again just a little bit of finger painting. I love teal, it's my absolute favourite colour. Make sure there's not too much on, just in a couple of places. There we go. There, I'm going to, actually no, I'm going to add a tiny bit down there. So that is almost done. I am just going to go and wash my fingers and dry that off. I'll give you a close-up first actually. There we go. That looks quite cool, doesn't it? The board is almost dry. I'm going to add a couple of finishing touches. I've got some little flowers here from the kit, and I'm going to stick them on. I think it needs a little bit of pink as it's got the pink at the top. I think that will go quite well. So let's pop those up there and they can dry. And then I am going to mist a little bit. Let's grab my board. I always use this board for anything messy, as you can see. I've got a 6x6 stencil here. Again, I'll link this up. I like this one because you've got 3 different choices. Actually, I think I might go with the stars. The one thing I would say, just be careful of the line there. If you were to mist here, you obviously end up with a big line. So I want to mist down the side. So what I'm going to do is cover up where I don't want the hexagonals and I don't want the line there. So I'm going to cover that up. I've got a teal ink spray here from Dilutions, which again is new in the shop. Let's give that a bit of a shake and let's see how that looks. Oh, I've got that everywhere. Okay, just wanted that to go down there. And I'm going to do some along the bottom. Just making sure I cover everything up nicely. And then I can remove that. And I can dry that off, and then I think that's finished. I now have my finished clipboard to show you. It's all done. I've just literally splashed a little bit of pink ink there to finish. I really felt like it needed something with the pink up there, so it's all tied in nicely. It's a little bit damp still, so I'm going careful, but I'm really pleased with that. I'd say that's a nice transformation, and this will hang nicely on my wall. So that's the clipboard. I'm really pleased with it. Any questions, please let me know, and like I said, I will link up the products underneath that I've used. Thank you very much. I shall see you soon. Bye.